In about 15 minutes' time, our season could be over. And I'm semi-tempted to just resign from Tottenham if it is. Hello and welcome to Season 21, Part 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're away against Porto in the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final, and then we have an FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea at Wembley. Since you were last with me, we've played some games. Most disappointingly was the one against Porto, though, at home in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final. It's a 1-1 draw, leaves us with a lot of work to do in the second leg. League form has been pretty good since the Man City game, obviously, which was a disaster. We're on a 3-game winning run in the league, so it's still not completely impossible for us to win the Premier League. It's just really, really unlikely. We're 5 points away from the top of the league with 5 games to go. Both Man City and Chelsea need to fall apart spectacularly. One advantage is we've still got Chelsea to play, so we have the opportunity to jump over them if we can beat them. We're away from home, though. Will I have learnt my lesson from Man City? No, I won't have learnt my lesson. But we need Man City to just absolutely crumble and fall apart, and it's pretty unlikely, I would suggest. So a lot rides on today's game against Porto. It's another massive away from home game. The difference between this and the Man City one, well, we had to win that, but we really, really have to win this one. We've got to go there and score a goal and not lose, and then we've got a chance. Failed to do either of those, and we're out of the Champions League. We have already qualified for next year's Champions League, but that's not going to be enough to keep the big name players at the club. So this is the team that we're going to be playing to try and beat Porto at their own ground. We've got Igor in goal. A back four, Ribeiro, Aribi, Eriksson and Ndai. Fiorentini, Sebman and Zayata in midfield, with Oscar in behind Vendrig and Iribarren. It's as strong as it comes for our team, but I am terrified. I'm getting horrible flashbacks to previous saves and away games in Europe against Portuguese teams and just falling at the final hurdle nonsense. We should be able to beat Porto today. We're in good form. Man City result aside, we are in a run of good form. But the Man City game was the last big game we had to play, and we just absolutely crumbled. And this is another big game, and if we crumble again, we have a problem. Michael Vendrig, I love you. So many people have said that we need to get rid of Vendrig, get Vendrig out of Liam Wells' way. Well, Vendrig scored the only goal in the first leg, and he's just got the incredibly important away goal 6 minutes into this leg. I mean, that goal is so important. It's levelled the tie again. Yes, we're ahead at the moment, but you know what I mean. Suddenly, it's not such a massive task. We're ahead in the game. We've got the away goal. As it stands right now, both of the things we came here to do have been done. Now it just becomes a normal game of football. If we win, we go through. And we're already ahead, hopefully going into half-time with a 1-goal lead, which would be marvellous. A 2-goal lead would be even better. Iribarren, I thought that had a stench of penalty about it, but apparently not. And now Porto with the chance to break. Can Aribi intercept? He can't. Igor makes a save, though, because Igor is everybody's hero. Forget previous lots of goals conceded nonsense. Today's the day Igor becomes a legend again. Oscar, I don't really know what he was aiming for there. And again, the real centre of a penalty in the penalty area. Both Oscar and Iribarren now have just sort of been on the ball and then been jostled off it in the penalty area. And usually when you see that kind of thing happen, penalties are given. I feel like we've had 2 good shouts for a penalty already, from what I can tell just from looking at dots from up here on the Kev blimp. Oh, right. Deep breaths. Do we go counter-attacking at some point? I feel like we probably should. I need to have learnt some lessons from City. We can't go counter-attacking now, though, because they've equalised. The tie is level. It's 1-1 in both legs, so we're level on aggregate. There's no away goals coming into play at the moment. As it stands, this is the only score that can push us into extra time. We could really do without extra time. That being said, we'll take it if it means getting through to the semi-finals. So we won't whinge about it too much. Of course, if we score again now, that puts us ahead on away goals and leaves Porto with an awful lot to do. If they score, we get sabbed though. Oscar, Vendrig is in. Can he be an even bigger hit? Row? No, he can't. That's a bit of a shame. I think it's time for Liam Wells. We're going to bring on Ortega. Who do we bring Wells on for, though? We can't take Vendrig off, but we shouldn't take Iribarren off. And Ziyech isn't playing well. And Wagner's got special in him. We're going to do that. 10 more minutes for Liam Wells. If we're going to go to extra time, we'll bring Wells on with 10 minutes to go for Iribarren, maybe. Depends what happens. Got to give Iribarren as much time as possible. Back-to-back Ballon d'Or winner. Back-to-back World Player of the Year. 51 goals already this season. And he's just absolutely bottled both legs of the Champions League semi-final and that game against Man City. Please don't tell me the best player in the world doesn't like big games. Wagner! I told you he had magic in his feet! You all thought I was mental when I brought him on rather than Liam Wells? That's why Wagner is still around our squad. He's never in a million years going to be good enough to start in this midfield. But every now and again, when it matters, he just does that. He's a wonderful human being. We're 2-1 up on the night, 3-2 up on aggregate, but we've got the away goals. Porto now need to score twice in the last 10 minutes to knock us out. We're going to bring Liam Wells on anyway because tactics mean very little to me. I know we should probably go defensive at this point, and we're going to go counter. But we're still going to keep Liam Wells on. Obviously, we've made the substitutions now. Liam, off you come. We'll go down to 10 men. Thank you. Let's go contain. I don't even know what contain does. Does that just line all of them up along the goal line? That'll do. I mean, even if I score here, it doesn't matter because they've got to score twice. Extra time is no longer an option. And we've successfully run the clock down. What a performance from Tottenham. Our name is on the trophy, I hope. We're into the semi-final of the Champions League. I'm very relieved that I now don't have to resign because I kind of talked myself into it before the match. If we lost both of these games, I'd be resigning. But who's still in? Right, Stoke is still in. Barcelona are going through. And it could be either Arsenal. I mean, Barcelona are the scary team. But everyone else who's still in it, we could beat. If we can avoid Barcelona in the semi-final, we could have a semi-final in our future. Now, talking of semi-finals, Chelsea in the FA Cup at Wembley. The good news keeps on coming, kids. We've got one of them tied down. Iribarren still absolutely refusing, but arguably just as important. Oscar's not going anywhere. Champions League semi-final draw time. We just want to avoid Barcelona. It's us, Arsenal, Stoke and Barcelona in the Champions League semi-finals. We know we can beat Arsenal. We know we can beat Stoke. We've never played Barcelona, from what I can remember. Have we ever played Barcelona? How good? I mean, I know by clicking on them, I'm guaranteeing we're going to get them. I mean, they're not dominant, are they? They're not winning everything every year. They've not won the Champions League at any point during this save. They have won the La Liga a couple of times. It looks like they're coming back good again. But Barcelona trying to win their first Champions League in, what is that, 22 years? Oh, they're so going to do it, aren't they? We're powerless to stop it. We just need to avoid them in the semi-final. A Champions League final might be enough to convince Iribarren to stay. At least then we look like contenders. So, Stoke. This is what we want. Because I don't know if the romance of an Arsenal-Tottenham final will force the game to let Arsenal get Barcelona out of the way for us. But I know it's going to be Arsenal that comes out of the hat next. Tell me if it is. Ooh! Oh, okay. So it's us against Arsenal. We're at home first. I always prefer to be away first. But a North London derby in the Champions League semi-final. And then the other one is Stoke against Barcelona. This save is crazy land. Just a couple of changes then for this FA Cup semi-final. And Ndiaye is not injured, he's suspended. So Plotnikov comes back into the back four with Eriksson moving over to right back. It's what we would have done when Ndiaye was on international duty earlier in the season. So fingers crossed Eriksson can do a good job for us out there. Medor comes in for Sedman in midfield just because, old man, why not? We're also going to go counter-attacking and structured. I'm trying to learn the lessons from the Man City game. It's a massive game against a team that are well capable of beating us. We're not strictly away from home. It's at Wembley, but we're going to go there a little bit cautiously to begin with and maybe reevaluate things at half-time and see where we are. I'm also really... what's this? Lengthy run out conceding a goal? Yes, we're going to beat him, obviously. We're great. Their goalkeeper's injured. I should have clicked on that to see what the injury is. Hold on, can we click on him now to see what his injury is? No. Can we click on him here and see what his injury is? Yes, we can. He's a goalkeeper with a dislocated shoulder. Is there a team instruction for just jostle the keeper constantly? I guess pump ball into the... Right, that might be something we resort to later on in the game. Just to get up in his face a little bit, jolt his shoulder around. What I was saying before I got distracted by that is between this game and the last game, it started absolutely hurling it down with rain. So if you can hear the sound of rain hitting a garage roof, it's because there's now rain hitting my garage roof. It's been a very cagey opening half an hour to this game, which, you know, looking at the way we've set ourselves up, you would think that's what we wanted. I am slowly moving towards the right. Let's start having a few shots against this goalkeeper who's injured before Chelsea go 2-0 up. Iribarren with a chance to do exactly that, but loses the ball. We need to have a shot. We need to start expressing ourselves a little bit. I don't know if we're going to go all the way to I tell you what, we'll go all the way to half time on counter-attacking because we're 1-0 up. Iribarren with his 52nd goal of the season. He must have heard me criticising the fact that he doesn't turn up for big games. Perhaps the Champions League intimidates him a little bit, but an FA Cup semi-final, quite happy to score an absolute screamer against a one-armed goalkeeper. Excellent stuff. Now we just need to show that we can be solid at the back. We've basically got 3 centre-backs on the pitch and the best left-back in the world. I don't know for a fact he's the best left-back in the world. I do know he's a world-class left-back who's very young. We spent a lot of money on him. I've not seen a better one. So let's say we've got the best left-back in the world and 3 good centre-backs. Vendrick, very, very slow to react to that. It sort of hit him in the head and Ribeiro trying to prove to me that he's not the best left-back in the world. Ziyech, I mean, that's twice we've tried to tackle and haven't really done it properly. Ribeiro does get the tackle in the end, but it's a poor ball from Iribarren. But eventually we've got the ball back. We're moving it forward. Iribarren's in. It's 2-0 before half-time. There may very well be an FA Cup final in our future. We're playing too many games. We need to get knocked out of something, but I want to win it all now. Let's hope Man City crumble. Let's just win everything this season. If we win everything this season, let me know down in the comments. We need a dare or a challenge. I almost said I'll do the last episode of the season with my shirt off, but then that's obviously not going to be advertiser friendly. So we need something that's not going to get me banned from YouTube or cost me a fortune in lost advertising revenue. So if we win everything this year, bearing in mind we've already won the European Super Cup and the EFL Cup earlier in the season, we're still in everything else. So if we win the FA Cup, Champions League and the Premier League and have five trophies this season, what do I do on the last game of the season? And do we end the save? Right, substitutions. We're going to take off both Medor and Fiorentini because they're tired. Why have I not... What's this? Why have I only got 6 substitutes? I haven't. Wells is there. Why is Wells... Liam. He's gone to get a pie. Good job we don't need him at the moment. Sebman and Burgess can both come on. And we're going to go full on... We're going to go full on defensive for the last 20 minutes. And for the last 10 minutes, we're going to drop back even further if we have to. Kev does tactics, everybody. Kev does tactics. I'm already planning my Booker T 5-time trophy. I know we needed a couple more there. 3-0. We're having T-shirts if we win all 5. That's for darn tooting. Whoa. I'm up for this again now. Come on. Let's win everything. Forget Man City happened. We need them to crumble. Michael Vendrick is becoming a good footballer again. I approve. Do we drop back to contain now? We're 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. Or is that just getting silly? I mean, that celebration was quite long. That was a bit silly. If we keep scoring goals, we're not going to need to drop back any further. We couldn't possibly throw a 3-goal lead away in the last 10 minutes. That kind of thing's unheard of. Right. Let's go to contain. Is Liam back? Liam's back. Nice pie, was it? Players have been sacked for that before. Real world football knowledge. See? Not as dumb as I play. We'll bring Costa on for Ziyech. And we don't really have a defensive midfielder in there now, but we're going to contain. We'll be fine. Ortega's played in the midfield 3 before. Where's the instructions? Let's play even safer. I'm not taking any chances. I've experienced 2 6-6 draws now. 3-0 up with 5 minutes to go. I still don't feel safe. So, yes, we'll waste time. Yes, we'll put every player behind the ball. And if I could go even more defensive, I would. See, here's the comeback. It's on. Igor collects. Wembley is absolutely sold out today. All 90,000 seats are full. And we have just absolutely spanked Chelsea. We've got to play them in the league in 2 games' time as well, which we'll have on tomorrow's episode. But we've absolutely spanked them. We're through to the FA Cup final. Do we know who we're playing yet? We don't. So, let's plan out episodes for the rest of the season. It looks like we've got to do Chelsea in the league and then Arsenal. And then we'll do the other half of Arsenal. We may as well just do all of these last games. So from Chelsea onwards, we'll do every game on an episode. So we'll have Chelsea and Arsenal, then we'll do QPR and Arsenal, then we'll do the final 2 league games of the season. Unless, if we've lost the other league games, we won't bother with those maybe, because if we can't win the league, we know we've already finished in the top 4, then we don't need to see Leeds and Sunderland. But then we'll definitely have the FA Cup final, and fingers crossed a Champions League final as well. Oh, it's all getting exciting. I'm excited because it's exciting. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching. Night time.